On TV, we just had an ex-Tesla competitor and a longtime skeptic of Tesla praising Tesla and clearly, although indirectly, saying the legacy automakers are doomed. So let's take a look.
Join us right now, Mark Fields, the former Ford CEO, also a CNBC contributor. It's great to see you, Mark. You've been, dare I say, skeptical, maybe is the polite way to put it, about Tesla over time. I'm curious what your take was on these earnings.
Well, Andrew, I thought, relatively speaking, they hit record earnings. It was a relatively good quarter, even despite, a lot of the issues, supply chain, demand in China, et cetera. I think that, to me, the most impressive thing is if you think about the trajectory they've been on over the last couple of years, their first full year of profitability was back in 2020, and they made about $720 million. This year, they made over $12.5 billion. And right now, that's more than what's projected for Ford or GM. So it's quite impressive what they've been able to achieve between that and building up to 2 million units of capacity at this point.
Currently, I think it is more important for Tesla to reach higher revenue than higher profits because Tesla needs to scale to reach economies of scale. And once Tesla does that, it will be very difficult for competitors to catch up. So look at this. This is Tesla's revenue. This is the growth of Tesla's revenue. See how it starts just a little bit, and then each year it grows little by little by little by little by little, and then boom, it's growing really fast. And that is exactly what is going to happen again. The revenue is going to keep shooting up. And earnings will follow revenue. Just a year before 2022, the earnings were only at $5.5 billion and now doubled. And then from 2020 to 2021, the earnings increased by about 7.5 times, roughly.
Well, I think, this company has been valued much more as a tech and software company than a regular car company. I think what you're seeing now, they're experiencing what it takes to compete as being one of the big players now in the auto industry, which is when you see demand go down, how do you stoke that demand, the impact on your margins? And I think investors are looking at this and saying, should we go forward and continue to value it as a technology company and the growth involved, or should we value it as a traditional car company?
Investors have spoken. Tesla should be valued like a technology company, say investors.
But I think what Musk has said is, listen, with these price cuts, we have the advantage of scale versus the established automakers. So even if you want to, look at me more as a regular automotive company, look at my margins versus the competitors, because these price cuts are really going to put a big challenge for the traditional automakers who are now launching their EVs.
Well, and that's the question. Can the other automakers cut prices in the same way? I don't think they can.
Well, they're going to have to respond, Andrew, in one form or fashion.
The legacy automakers, they can't respond to Tesla's price cuts effectively. They are only saying, we can't cut prices because that will destroy the residual values of these ICE vehicles and possibly EVs as well, that, we are not going to make anyway. So yeah, why would we do that? I mean, those residual values will go down anyway because everybody's transitioning to EV. So why would we just accelerate that? This price cut is just annihilating all of the competition. It will take some time for these legacy automakers to feel the pain, but they see it coming.
Because, the way consumers shop and they cross shop, it's based on price. They're looking at a price range, and if your product doesn't fall within that, you're not even being considered.
That Kia thinks that it is inappropriate to cut the prices off the vehicles, but by doing so, Tesla can penetrate the market quite deeply, all the way up until about here with the Model 3, when we consider tax credits as well. And it really helps to lower the price for the Model Y as well, because before we only had this little market around here. As you can see, most of the market is here. And that is specifically for the US market. Other markets in the world are not as developed as the US auto market. Other markets like cheaper cars, especially in China. So price cuts are even more effective in many other parts of the world.
So I think the automakers, the traditional automakers, their challenge is, is to get to scale. When you ramp a plant, it's really important to ramp it up fully, get it stabilized. That's when you can really start working on cost efficiencies within the plant and with your suppliers. That's what Tesla has been able to do. And so I think the automakers, they're going to have to, Tesla went through what they called production hell to get to scale. The established automakers know production at scale, but it's not going to be a cakewalk for them. So they have to get that volume, which means they have to be price competitive.
I love how measured he is. What he's saying is that the legacy automakers need to get to scale for them to be able to drop the price. They know how to manufacture at scale. They have done that with internal combustion vehicles, and in theory, that is harder to do because these vehicles have many more parts. However, EVs, that is a new technology, so actually it is more difficult to scale that technology instead of just, maintaining the legacy technology at scale. He's saying you have to be competitive when it comes to price, but they are saying that they cannot drop the price like Kia. So if you cannot drop a price, then no one will buy your vehicle, and therefore you will never be able to get to scale because no one is going to buy your vehicle even if you sell it at a break-even price or even at a small loss. Basically what he's saying is legacy automakers are doomed.
Mark, can we talk cruise control and self-driving? I don't know if you saw this. Your former company, Ford, coming out of the top of a Consumer Reports list, I think it was just yesterday, that the sort of automated cruise control, which is not necessarily as advanced as what Tesla's doing, for example, in terms of full self-driving and the like, but actually came out on top. Tesla fell to number 7 because Consumer Reports didn't really like the fact that you have to put your hands on the wheel, but that they have no cameras looking at people's eyes. Did you see this? They actually put Ford and GM, or I think a Cadillac, at the top 2 slots on this.
Oh. Consumer Reports still ranks Tesla reliability 27th out of 28, okay? Supposedly, Mercedes is much more reliable than Tesla. By the way, we have a Mercedes. Oh. I'm getting rid of it right now, by the way. But then I look at other data from other third-party websites. For example, this is data put together by Clunker Junker. Quite a name, right? Easy to remember. And according to them, Tesla is the cheapest luxury brand to maintain. So over a 10-year period, you only are expected to spend 7% in basically maintenance cost. Meanwhile, for Mercedes, which is supposedly more reliable, somehow you will end up spending about 3 times the money. That somehow makes sense. To Consumer Reports, not to me. And you will not believe this. So these are the most reliable brands. Of course, number 1, Toyota. Okay, no surprise here. Number 2, Lexus. No surprise here either. BMW is number 3. Seriously? Really? We had BMWs. Multiple BMWs. Every one of them was poop when it came to repair costs. They broke down non-stop. And when it breaks, it's a nightmare to repair unless you have warranty. And even if you do have warranty, you'll be without your car for multiple weeks because things like a transmission will break down while the car is relatively new. And that experience is based on probably at least 8 BMWs. My family really liked BMWs. But you know which vehicles were the least reliable in terms of which ones you will spend the most money. Fixing BMWs. The first 2 spots are BMWs. No surprise here. And then number 3 is a Mercedes, and then number 4, again, a BMW. As far as gasoline cars go, BMWs are quite nice to drive. But reliable? It is not something I would ever say about almost any BMW. There are some minor exceptions, but to say that the BMW brand overall is more reliable than Honda? Are you out of your mind? Consumer Reports. I would never trust that company. So let's see what Mark is going to say about it. I would expect a rather measured response because they are saying good things about Ford, and he was a CEO of Ford before.
Yeah, when you look at the self-driving capabilities or automated driving capabilities, and somebody like Ford and even GM, those systems are very easy to use. Listen, the automakers, the established automakers, have a lot of experience with cruise control, adaptive cruise control. They understand how consumers are using their vehicle. And listen, the safety is top paramount for the established automakers. And I think you're seeing that in this report that you mentioned that came out, that the usability of it is really good.
I am glad we are talking about safety because Teslas are the safest vehicles ever produced and ever tested. This is the buying opportunity of Tesla stock presented by Elon Musk. My name is Matt Posis. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.